Welcome back to Folk Solo Sports Show. Let's get right into NFL Week 12 of 17. Start off with the Texans destroying the Lions 41 to 25. The Texans still can turn it around and be a playoff team. They looked terrible. I believe they started out about what was it, 0 and 4 or something crazy like that. Turning around the season now 4 and 7. They still have the opportunity to come back and go 9 and 7 or even 8 and 8 and get to the playoffs if everything goes well for them, which the Lions also were on track for going to the playoffs, but the circumstances are different. They turned their season around and it's gotten worse. It's for the worse half instead of the better half. They were 3 and 3, looking a lot better than the Texans weeks ago, but now the Texans make them go 4 and 7 instead of going 5 and 6 in that game. And Stephen A. Just said something about the Lions coach being fired, and I will have to say this. Just like I said about the Cleveland Browns, the Lions is another organization that they have very good players a lot of the times, and the coaching is terrible. And once the coaching gets right, you will see that that team comes up and they become a playoff team. So I think just as the Browns are getting better with coaching, once the Lions get better with coaching, you'll see their seasons turn around also. Okay? We had the Washington football team annihilating the Dallas Cowboys. Another 41-point game. 41 to 16 it was. And the Cowboys now go to 3 and 8. And the Washington football team are 4 and 7 now. Who my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, will be playing here pretty soon on Sunday. Hopefully we get that win. If not, that will be highly disappointing. All right. We had the Bills beating the Chargers 27 to 17. Bills are 8 and 3. Chargers are 3 and 8. And the Buffalo Bills are starting to creep up. They're looking a lot better. They're looking like top 3 AFC team right now. Right now, as far as AFC teams, it would be the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the Bills third. And I know the Steelers are undefeated, but I still would put the Chiefs first just because they're the Super Bowl champions and they also only have lost one game. So they're basically still perfect on the season until further notice. Okay, so Chargers 3 and 8. Bills looking like a very good team still. It looks like the Bills will be one of the top AFC teams for at least the next 5 years, if not the next decade. Then we had another 40-point game, third 40-point game of Week 12 with the Titans beating on the Indianapolis Colts 45 to 26. Both of these teams still in very good positions. Titans going 8 and 3 and the Colts 7 and 4. The Colts were just looking good when they beat the Green Bay Packers. But this is an AFC team. They could have did better in this game, okay? But they're still not a bad team, okay? They're doing pretty good. Phillip Rivers, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Only completing half of his passes, though. Excuse me. 295 yards. And the Titans looking pretty good from what they did weeks ago when the Steelers beat them and they were 5 and 0. Then they lost two games in a row. The Steelers beat them, made them 5 and 1. Bengals beat them next, made them 5 and 2. And then they won a game and lost another. So now, ever since then, they have tied up the amounts of wins that they got losses from starting off of being 5 and 0. So they're still looking like the fourth best team. They're looking better than the Ravens now. It used to be the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Titans, and then the Bills. But now the Bills are looking better than the Titans and the Ravens. And the Ravens have fell all the way down into fifth place. But we'll get into that in a second. So we got the Titans at 8-3 and the Colts at 7-4. All right. Hold on. This lost me here. Give me a sec. We had the Vikings beating the Panthers 28-27 by 1 point. And shouts out to Rob Parker. He picked the Vikings to get to the wild card, which they can still do. And they might do it because the second half of this season, they have been lighting it up. They look like the Houston Texans from, I'm not too remembering of what season that was, but I'm pretty sure it was in this last decade when the Houston Texans started out just with a terrible season, and then they won like 10 games in a row, I believe. And that's what the Vikings look like right now, because they started off 0-5 and now they are 5-6. So they went 5-1 in their last 6 games. If they wouldn't have lost that last game, I'm pretty sure last week, they would be looking excellent right now at 6-5, still looking excellent at 5-6, making the Panthers, who are another 3-3 team, like the Detroit Lions in the beginning of the season, are now 4-8 after starting off 3-3, which is just terrible. So they only won one game in the last 6 weeks, that is, I believe. Could be wrong on that. Try to add it up quick, but just terrible. 3-3 to 4-8 is just terrible. So the Panther season is over, but the Viking season look like it still has a lot of light on it. And I will give props to Rob Parker for picking the Vikings to make the wild card. It didn't look so earlier, them being 0-5, but now his predictions look a lot better. They're 5-6 and they can make the wild card. All right. Then we got, let's see. We got the Browns beating the Jaguars. Browns now 8-3, beating the Jaguars 27-25. Jaguars 1-10 now on the season. 1-10. It's not a good year for Jaguar fans. I can tell you that. Especially after we thought that the Jaguars were going to be one of the teams to be leading the AFC for the coming seasons after they beat the Steelers twice in one season. One time in the playoffs, 45-42, beat the Steelers, got them out of there, just was shutting them down offensively. Was shutting them down defensively. They couldn't do nothing. Like, they just kept scoring. Score after score after score, the Jaguars was putting up on us. And now they are 1-10, not even close, after 2 seasons ago, just being in, I believe, that was the AFC Championship. Just being in the AFC Championship to 1-10. Now the Browns, on the other hand, looking like a very good team. And this is not just because they got all these good players. It's because their coaching has got a lot better. Baker Mayfield having to deal with 4 head coaches in 2 seasons. It looks like this head coach will be here to stay, and it looks like the Cleveland Browns will be that Cleveland Browns team from way back when whoever can remember, who actually were at least able to get to the playoffs sometimes. But these Cleveland Browns look even better than that, and props to them. Doing good, 8-3, passing up the Ravens now, and they are trying to be, like I said, it takes a while to get to the first. They already are in second. Now, who's to say the Cleveland Browns will do this again next season? They're fourth they're known for being the fourth best team in the AFC North. But it looks like they already have passed the Bengals, even though the Bengals have been to the playoffs a lot of times in the past 20 years, lost every game. But who's to say if they'll do this next season and they'll stay at third, or can they actually come up and pass the Baltimore Ravens to be the second best team in the AFC North? We will see. It takes a while to get the first. It takes a while to become the best team over the Steelers in the AFC North. But if they get to the Super Bowl twice in the next 5 years, like our even 10, 15, whatever, they might be able to tie it up with the Ravens because the Steelers have it by a landslide. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm not just saying it because that's my team and it's where I'm from. Just look at the numbers, look at the AFC championships, look at the Super Bowls. Yes, it will take them a while, but they're doing very well. Cleveland Browns are doing very well. All right, we had the Giants. Oh, all right. I gotta apologize to the Giants. They won 4 games, 4-7 now. One more than three. Like I thought they would only win 3 games. They're 4-7, and they can still go to the playoffs, leading the NFC East, beating the Bengals. The Bengals now dropped to 2-8-1. Okay, so the Bengals season is over. I know people want to probably try to say maybe if Barrow didn't get hurt or something, they would still had a chance. Maybe Bengals fans think that, but I'm sorry, that just isn't the case. The Bengals season been over 2 weeks ago when they were 2-6-1, and they couldn't convert any wins after that. If they would have started winning, they would still be in there, but not at this point. It's over. Giants, on the other hand, though, looking very good. 4-7, 19-7 final score. All right. We had the Patriots defeating the Cardinals. Cardinals looking very terrible, looking like the Ravens. The Cardinals look like the Ravens of the NFC right now because they started off about 5-1 or something like that. They had a good record, 5-1, 5-2, and just like the Ravens. And now both teams are 6-5. In the last 4 weeks, they have played terribly. We don't know what's going on. And now they're not looking like that they are going to be in the playoffs if they keep it up at this rate. Okay? On the other hand, we got the Patriots trying to turn their season around and go 10-6, which I think they can do, and get to the playoffs. It would be crazy if the Patriots pull that off after being what was it? 3-5. If they can pull it off and go 10-6 and win these last games, Cam Newton will be re-signed with the Patriots, and he will be the new face of the franchise for the New England Patriots, and he will have success with that team, I believe. If that whole team will have success with Cam Newton as the quarterback there, Bill Belichick will get him throwing the ball and not overthrowing his receivers. He will make him practice at that, I believe. And Cam Newton and the Patriots will get better. And I do believe they can go 10-6 and still make the playoffs. All right. We got Patriots at 5-6, Cardinals at 6-5. All right. We had the Dolphins continuing the Jets' horror season of 0-11. The reverse of the Steelers. 0-11. Just a bad deal. You let Le'Veon Bell go. You let your Pro Bowl running back go. And You're already, what were they at that point, 0-6 or 0-7, and you somehow think that you're going to get any better with, Frank Gore. Like, Frank Gore needs help. If Le'Veon Bell is still there, it's not like the Le'Veon Bell was just, killing the game when he was there. But if Frank Gore is coming in after Le'Veon Bell, he can do damage and get a lot of yards and run. Frank Gore did do good this game. He had 18 carries for 74 yards. And Frank Gore is just that dude, man. I feel bad for Frank Gore having to suffer through this. Frank Gore, if you want, Connor is hurt. What is his name? Sneed. Yeah. We could use another running back. We don't know how it's going to work out here. Connor's hurt, so we might be able to use the backup right now if somehow Steelers never pull any good trades off, though, barely. Minkah Fitzpatrick was 1 in a million, but that's not something Steelers normally do. All right, so I'll forget about that. But shouts out to Frank Gore. Frank Gore is doing his thing, man, and year 50 for him. All right, and then we got the Dolphins going 7-4 though, and let's see here. Fitzpatrick having a good game. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in that game. Tua getting benched just because of his comment from 4 weeks ago. I'm telling Tua right now, Tua, I hope you see this. Please ask to leave the Miami Dolphins. You just got, disrespected basically by your coach if he's the one that made that call. You should be 4-0 starting right now. And this is what I was saying in my last video, if y'all watched it. Okay, make your quarterbacks feel good about coming in and out of the game. Don't make them turn their backs on each other to see who's trying to get the starting position. Make them feel good. If Tua stays in that game, I think the Dolphins come back and win that game last week against the Denver Broncos. And Tua is 4-0 in all of his starts. He's 4-0 right now. Then if you want to put Ryan Fitzpatrick in on this New York Jets game, you put him in after that and you let him win this game. And right now, the Dolphins will be 8-3. No, you took Tua out in the fourth quarter and let Ryan Fitzpatrick come in after not having a rhythm for the game and losing the game, throwing 1 interception, no touchdowns. Tua, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The Dolphins should be 8-3 right now because I'm telling you, Tua comes back and wins that game, and it's a different story right now because him saying y'all not trying to bring down his ego just because he said he thought it would be a lot harder. Okay, so that's what that is. Nobody can change my mind on that. Just bad decisions by Brian Flores. All right, but the Dolphins did win that week with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they are now 7-4. We had the Falcons obliterating the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders now 6-5, also in the boat with the Arizona Cardinals and the Baltimore Ravens. One of the teams that looked better, and the Falcons have turned the season around. Don't think they'll get to the playoffs, but good looks for the Atlanta Falcons that are 4-7 now and started off 0-6 or something crazy. So, and to beat the Raiders makes them look even like the Falcons. I might be wrong. The Falcons beating the Raiders makes them look like that they can go to the playoffs because the Raiders are the only team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So for the Falcons to beat the Raiders And the second time the Kansas City Chiefs played them, they only won by 4 points, 35-31. So for the Falcons to come in and beat the Raiders 43-6, the Falcons might be able to win all 5 of their last games and go to the playoffs and be 9-7 in the wild card. I believe they can do it. I believe they can do it. But I don't think they'll get past the first game. All right? Falcons 4-7, Raiders 6-5. We had the Saints just continuing their reign, man. 9-2. 9-2 now, beating on the Broncos 31-3, showing the Broncos that they're not the Miami Dolphins, even when it's the backup quarterback in the game. Hill came in, okay, didn't throw any touchdowns, but completed more than half of his passes, only had 78 yards, 1 interception, and still won this game. So it's looking like it was. I didn't watch the game closely. Murray with 124 yards. Okay. Broncos back in the hole. Every week they look good and then they look bad. Every week the Broncos do good, then they look bad. You just never know what you're going to get out of this team at this point. And the Saints now 9-2 without Drew Brees, continuing to win. That tells you how good of a team they are. One of my Super Bowl picks, beating the Broncos 31-3. 49ers against the LA Rams came down to 3 points. Okay, now that you can say it's a divisional game, but at the same time, come on, Rams. Sorry. Yeah, come on, Rams. Like, you gotta do better than this. You lost to the San Francisco 49ers after beating the better teams. The 49ers, who thought they were going back to the Super Bowl, not good. The Rams should be 8-3 right now, but they keep the division rivals alive, who are 5-6 now. 49ers still can be in the playoffs. Still can go to the playoffs. All right. It's lost me again here. This just keeps getting away. All right. We had the Chiefs beating the Buccaneers 27-24, about 3 points. A lot of excuses being made for Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes, 462 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Oh, goodness. This dude's just killing, man. Tom Brady, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 27 out of 41 attempts, 345 yards. Not a very bad game. Not as bad as when he played the Saints and lost to the Saints, okay? But still a bad game. But I will say this. This is not Tom Brady. This is Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is the type of coach that comes in and doesn't let veteran players beat themselves and let them be the person that they are that made them that veteran player. He seems like the coach that wants to come in and control every second, every play, every route of the game, and this is why he isn't a winner, and this is why his team just went from 6-2 to 7-5. 6-2 to 7-5. That is terrible. Okay? So this is more of Bruce Arians' fault than Tom Brady's. Bruce Arians does not need to be calling any plays for Tom Brady. Tom Brady needs to be calling every single play of the game for the offense. Like how Kyrie Irving said, they don't even need a head coach. This might be true about Tom Brady. Okay, I might, take it back myself a little bit for the Spygate, and who knows if that has something to do with his earlier success. But to other people, Tom Brady doesn't need anybody calling plays for him. Veteran quarterback, 6 Super Bowls, questionable, 9 appearances, and he doesn't need Bruce Arians or anybody else trying to play for him. He can go in there and is smart enough to switch up the play, do whatever he needs to make his team win on the offensive side. Okay? So we got the Buccaneers now at 7-5, and we got the Chiefs at 10-1. Still looking like the best team in the NFL over the Steelers, Super Bowl champions, basically perfect on the season, and they're just not stopping. They're just getting better and better every time, man. And Le'Veon Bell, 5 carries, only 22 yards. Okay, now he's averaging 4.4 yards per carry, but it's not the Le'Veon Bell I know. I feel like he got to touch the ball a little more than that. Tyreek Hill going off, 13 receptions, 269 yards, 20.7 yards per carry, per catch, and 3 touchdowns, man. This dude is just going off, man. I'm scared if the Steelers got to play the Chiefs in the playoffs because Tyreek Hill is going to light it up unless Minkah Fitzpatrick continues to play how he's been playing. But even still, when the dude's just a beast like that, there's no stopping it. All right? We're loading here. We're loading. Froze on me. This thing froze on me, y'all. Okay, next up, another 41. This was the week for teams to get 41 points, I guess. 41-25, the Green Bay Packers beat the Chicago Bears and now are 8-3. The Chicago Bears are a disappointment. Right now, they're looking very disappointing. It's not even close. If you want to move any team out the city, the Chicago Bears, Chicago doesn't need to have a team right now because they look terrible. 5-0 start to 5-6 now. This is ridiculous. I like the Chicago Bears. I want them to win if the Steelers don't. And they are 5-6 now, losing to one of their biggest rivals, the Green Bay Packers, getting shut out 41-25 after starting off 5-0. This is just ridiculous, and I can't believe it. I don't know what to say at this point. I don't know if it's the players or the coaches at this point. Somebody please enlighten me on this situation because it needs to be fixed immediately, and I don't even want to keep talking about it, man. 5-6. What's that now? Let's add it up. Let's add it up. Or let's not. It's just like 5 or 6 straight losses right now. That's all y'all need to know. All y'all, after beating, one of their wins are from Brady and the Buccaneers too. That should tell you how good they were doing in the beginning of the season. This is ridiculous. All right, we had the Seahawks beating the Eagles 23-17. Eagles falling under the Giants now. Giants 4-7, Eagles 3-7-1. Seahawks 8-3, looking like the best team in the NFC besides the New Orleans Saints right now. The Seahawks look better than the Green Bay Packers also. And I don't know. Maybe the Buccaneers will go 11-5 and still make the playoffs, but right now it's just not looking like that. It's looking like they're going to run up the losing streak, and they might even go 8-8. They can go 8-8. And I was hoping for the Buccaneers to win. Not just because it's one of my picks, because I want to see Big Ben versus Tom Brady in the Super Bowl somehow. That would be crazy. After all the years of watching Brady beat Big Ben in the playoffs on the Patriots against the Steelers. So to see them in the Super Bowl against each other, that'll be a very, very good experience. All right. And last but not least, finally, the game that got canceled, what, 3 times? Yeah, 3 times. Got canceled Thursday, Sunday, and Tuesday, which was good because it snowed crazy here in Pittsburgh on Tuesday. So that benefited them, or they would have been going through a lot of snow. And the Steelers beat the Ravens on Wednesday Night Football. And I do agree with Rob Parker, not all the way. He's trying to say Steelers are the worst 11-0 team in NFL history. That's a negative. I will say that they got to do a lot better. But at the same time, you can't even really try to fault them. Maybe for the Cowboys game, you can say the Steelers should have annihilated the Cowboys. But for a division game, it doesn't matter if it's the third string that you're playing against. They're going to come in there and play hard because they know it's up to them to get that team to the playoffs, to try to keep their playoff hopes alive. So it doesn't matter if it's the third string that somebody in their division is playing against. They're going to play hard. And it's not like RG3 came in and never played in a game before, and it was his first start. He used to be a starting quarterback. And I'll go even further and say the Ravens should have had 21 points. They would have got a touchdown if the guys on the Steelers, because you couldn't really see their names when it happened, who did it, but the Ravens should have had another touchdown, and they stopped the guy on the ball, whoever carried the ball, and they laid on him and let the clock run out, and I didn't like it. It looked like a cheating move, and I hope to never see that from another Steelers player again. That was a terrible play right there. And it's still a win, but I don't like seeing that. You trying to stop the clock to try to take down the competition illegally, not in a good way. I can see if you did something to distract them after they got the ball up and already in motion, but you did it to try to stop the clock. That reminded me of when we were playing the Colts. One of the seasons we went 12-4 to the Super Bowl, and it was a regular season game, Steelers versus Colts, and it was like 18 or 20 seconds on the clock. And the referee, the Steelers were going down the field trying to come back, and the referee just took the ball and juggled it all through his hands for like 10 whole seconds, and they didn't put any time back on the clock, and he took all that time away from the Steelers, and they just let the game in. That's exactly what that reminded me of. I thought it was cheating then that the referee did that to the Steelers, and I thought this was cheating now that the Steelers players did that against the Ravens, and maybe the Ravens win that game if they get that touchdown. I didn't like what I seen right there. Or the Steelers, they would have forced them to play a lot harder and get 19 more points. A win's a win. They would have forced them to get a lot more points and play a lot harder and not make so many mistakes, like Big Ben said they did after the game. So hopefully we get that corrected. Hate to see any play like that. Not a good look for the Steelers. And Mike Tomlin definitely needs to get that in check, because we don't want to be known as the 11-0 team who was cheating to get there like the New England Patriots did. This is Folk Solo Sports Show. I get back with y'all for more. Like, subscribe, get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about your team. Peace.